All right, today I'm working on cleaning off our furniture at our seasonal site. It gets really gross during the winter. Even though we leave it covered, it just gets gross. It's nice to give it a good thorough cleaning, make sure that it's just in good shape for the season. And it'll get dirty here and there. We don't necessarily keep these covered during the season. We're under the trees and we're in nature. But at least giving it one good cleaning is a nice thing to do to get the season started and feel like at least some of the spiders are gone or not going to make a home on these stools. We have a pretty nice setup here. It's really nice having a seasonal site where you're able to pick out everything that you want, get it set up the way you want, and come to it each time you come hang out. But again, the one thing is you're in nature. So even though I'm going to get these nice and clean right now, this is not how they are going to remain. There will be spiders making their homes back in these things every time we're not here sitting on them. But I guess that's camping for you, right? At least when you are out in nature under the trees. And it's spring, right? There's going to be a lot more rain this week. There's already been a lot of rain. But it's nice to feel like we're at least getting the site ready for the season. I'm at the campground. It's really quiet here today, and frankly, that's what I was hoping for, so that I could have a conversation. I hear like a frog or something in the background, and you probably can hear it. But it's Memorial Day, and the campground is pretty much cleared out. It was a busy weekend, but most people head home, check out. It's usually around noon, so people are gone. One of the things that's been on my mind, I wanted to make a video about, is this concept of mental load. So about 2 years ago, we changed the title of the channel to The Least Complicated. Maybe it was a year ago, I don't remember. And the reality is, we needed to change the title because it was two moms and twins, and clearly, we've got 3 kids now. But we started getting to this territory where things just seemed so complicated. Like there was just so much going on. There were more places to get our kids. There were more things our kids had to do. Our jobs just seemed more demanding, and somehow parenthood had gotten more complex. And so there was this desire I had to just try to make it less complicated. What were the things in our life that were just causing complexities? What could we do differently? What could we make easier for ourselves? And the reality is that while there are some life hacks, there's just this term called mental load that has been increasingly getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and just more difficult to deal with. And I think back to when, we had the twins, and I think, oh, okay, we had twins, and boy, that didn't seem like as difficult as things are now, but things were more controllable. There weren't all these things from the outside coming in, right? You had your 2-year-olds, your 3-year-olds, and you took care of them, and you were in the house, and that was that. But then all of a sudden, they get out there in the world, and there's places to be, things to do, and field trips, and school lunches, and just things get so much more complex. And right now we're in the season of sports. And I love that my kids play sports. I really wanted them to play sports. It was a very important part of my life. But we have 3 kids, and they all need to be in a different place. And there are 2 of us. And actually, Marit is going into the office 3 days a week. And so there's one of me. My parents have been super helpful, but it's tough. It is. That mental load is just becoming suffocating, and trying to figure out what to do with it. Like what to do. So one of the things we recently did is we got a hearth display. Now we've had it for a few weeks now. We've been traveling, and it just hasn't been the right time to set it up. It just feels a little bit like, yes, this is going to help our life, but at the same time, a little bit daunting to get it all set up. And I was going to do it this weekend, but I didn't. And I'm hoping that helps us, but why is it so hard for me to just take the step to work on it? It just seems like a lot, right? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it one day this week. I'll do a whole video about that, and just, if it helps relieve that mental load. But there's so much I am doing, and I want to make sure that we're sharing things equally, Marit and myself, and that we're all aware of the different dates and the different things and the stuff that needs to get done. And right now we just have a paper calendar and verbals back and forth. And it just doesn't seem like it's the best way to handle all of these things, because inevitably one person feels like they're doing more, or like everything's falling on their shoulders, and they're the ones responsible for the times and the places and the things. And and it becomes like too much. And it is impacting our relationship. Like if we just step away from all that stuff and don't have to think about it, it becomes a really different situation. It becomes a lot easier, a lot more manageable when we don't have to think, or I don't have to think about all of the stuff that's going on. And I just don't want to think about the stuff. So there are a few people here. There is somebody else coming to the beach. It's a little awkward vlogging in public or speaking in public. I was hoping it was a little quieter here. But yeah, so I'm just talking about mental load. Mental load. It gets heavy, it gets intense. It's a real thing that starts impacting just your emotional well-being, your happiness. Like, it becomes overwhelming. Yeah. And I want to savor all of these moments with our kids because it goes so fast. Like, everybody tells you it goes fast, and the truth is it goes so fast. But, you know, when that mental load just gets so heavy, it's just hard. It's just hard. So it's been nice to step away. We've had vacation. Martin and myself, we got away recently, had a few nights to ourselves. And I'm really glad that I've had all these experiences because it has become so clear that it is this mental load that is too much. I don't have all the solutions. I know I just said that. I think I do need to do some meditation. Do need to make time, carve out time for myself to make sure that I'm taking care of myself so that I can then handle this mental load better. Again, hoping that hearth display helps us. But I wanted to make this video because I gather that a lot of parents watch this channel, or they have in the past. Or maybe you're just coming to this channel for the first time. Whatever the case is. This mental load, this concept, it's a real thing. And it's hard to carry. And you're probably thinking, like, what is all in there, right? I mentioned the sports, I mentioned the being places, the school, but it's also like things like the clothes. Like, you know, I think of like the seasons and the clothes and being the one to make sure that everybody has everything they need, right? Oh, it's winter. Does everyone have boots that fit? Do they have ski pants that fit? Oh, it's summer. Does everyone have a bathing suit that fits? The kids are going to this thing. They need to get dressed for this concert, whatever. Do they have something to wear? And all of these things that are continually going on, the lunches, the food, most recently our kids had to make dioramas for school. Do they have all this stuff they need to make the diorama? And you start piling and layering this all together with work. I have a very demanding job, so the work, right? The work, all of the stuff at work. So all of the things that you're trying to keep in your head for work, and then you've got all this family stuff, and then you got the pets on top of that, and then you have the house that you're trying to maintain and keep clean and make sure you have the groceries and the food and the cars maintained. And I mean, just think of everything that goes into life, and then add 3 kids to that, each that have their own needs, 2 parents that work. And the reality is it just builds up and it becomes this intense mental load. And I presume many of you are dealing with it. There was a Wall Street Journal article, New York Times article lately. And that's what really just started churning, like thinking about this mental load. I was reading it and I said, wow, that's what I'm dealing with. That is my experience. And I think it breaks couples up. It tears families apart. People get divorced because of this, because they have trouble working together to manage it, and because they don't have a name for it, or because life just comes, you have this relationship, you love each other, you got married, you had these kids, and then things became a lot to handle. And so then you forget that piece of like who you were as a couple before you were kids, because it's so clouded over by all the mental load and all the stuff. And then I think couples break up. That's not where we're headed. That's not what's happening with Martin and myself, but it's just recognizing, again, this mental load and how to handle it and how to deal with it so that I can be the best person that I can be for my wife, for my kids, and I think we're all dealing with this kind of stuff. It's just there. Life has gotten so noisy. There's so much. Yeah, so this is me just sitting talking about something that was on my mind, and maybe it helps you because it's something you've been dealing with as well. You know, maybe you didn't have a name for it, and now you do. Look it up, Google it. You're not the only one. And I think that, you know, we can handle this. It's really, like I said, recognizing it and then carving out the time for me as a person to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, that I'm doing the things that fill my bucket, that give me joy, that give me what I need to manage the other stuff. And then what can I do to manage the other stuff to make it easier? So, you know, maybe that hearth display. The other thing we recently did, well, not recently, it was months ago actually, is a meal delivery service for our kids. Things were just so crazy. Everybody wants something different to eat. It's like the last thing I want to think about is, you know, cooking 3 different dinners for somebody, you know, in between school and getting to a sports game. So we have meal delivery service for our kids, for ourselves. I thought about what else can I do? I thought about outsourcing the laundry, but that just seemed ridiculous. That actually seemed like more work than it was worth. But I'm trying to think of like these hacks. I'm trying to think of what takes some of the stuff and makes it easier. And it's not magic, right? It's not magic. And I'll try to maybe share some of the things with you, like I said. The hearth display, I'll talk about the meals because that was actually game changing and it's not as expensive as you think it's going to be. And our kids like them. Again, we're going on like probably 6 months of it. So there's times when they're like, I want something else. But it really has been helpful because they see how busy we are. They see everything that we're trying to do. And it ensures that they're getting a healthy meal and quickly. They're getting a healthy meal and quickly, and it's not causing more rifts because we feel like we're running a restaurant. But I feel like I digress a little bit. I'll bring this to a close and say that, yeah, the mental load is a real thing. Parents are definitely struggling in today's day and age, and we've got this. We can do this. We can make it through. We can help support each other. And we can do it. Now, life is a beautiful thing. Having kids is a beautiful thing. It's just all of this stuff that becomes a lot to manage. So we just need to put different practices, procedures, and hacks in place. And remember to take care of ourselves so that we can successfully navigate this wonderful, beautiful life of being a parent. And no, it's not always glorious, but the reality is if you think about the fact that your kids are quickly growing up and they're going to be out of the house, like what can I do to help just make that as smooth as possible, that experience of spending time with them growing up, us experience this part of life together, because before I know it, I feel like they're going to be moving off to college, and that makes me sad. So it makes me just want to take that step back and figure out how I can best manage this mental load.
I dropped them on the ground. Should I pick it up? It's stinging like a duck call. Yeah. And I just got a thing. I guess they wanted to stop it. Wait, what's that? It's all burnt. The steak is blunted.
This is
It's
I
burnt.
overcooked it because I haven't cooked this in so long.
You made it to just a burnt, not burnt.
No, it's not burnt. That was because it was like a sugary.
You overcooked it.
So good.
And it smells like pepperoni.
This is my holiday treat.
Pepperoni and cheese. Pepperoni and cheese.
Smells like pepperoni. When did you come back? An old lady? An old lady from the Bronx?
She was like pepperoni. Hello. What did you say?
Cheers.
What did you say?
Ava, are you done with your food?
There's something about camping that brings out the best in us. Maybe it's the way time slows down when you're sitting around a fire, the way stars seem to shine a little bit brighter when you're wrapped in a blanket next to the people that you love most. Maybe it's the laughter echoing through the trees, the sticky s'mores fingers, the sleepy-eyed morning walks with coffee in hand and little feet crunching along the trail. Out here, there's no schedule, no deadlines, just moments, just memories waiting to be made. And as summer rolls in, I feel that familiar mix of excitement and gratitude because I know we're about to make even more memories, the kind our kids will remember when they're grown, the kind that will live in photo albums and campfire stories for years to come. This summer, we'll chase fireflies and new trails. We'll get too much sun and not enough sleep. We'll laugh until our stomachs hurt and fall asleep to the sound of crickets and quiet breathing beside us. And in the middle of it all, I'll be reminding myself, this is it. These are the days, the good ones, the messy, beautiful, unforgettable ones. Here's to summer, here's to family, and here's to every moment we get to live it all together.